Hi, I'm Allie, and I'm Living Chronic Faith. Thanks for stopping by. Today, we have a special guest with us, and I'm so excited to introduce you to her. This is one of my sisters from another mister, and she is an incredible minister of the gospel, and she is always found helping and blessing other people. And she's also a person that is living with chronic pain. And so it is my pleasure to introduce to you Jeannette Beckford. Hi, Jeannette. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I just kind of want to get into right away your story. A lot of our viewers are living with chronic medical conditions, and um, they're lending their support to someone who is. And I just want you to tell us a little bit about your story because it's so relatable to what a lot of us are dealing with. So, can you just tell us a little bit about your journey?
Okay, my journey. Well, it started over 15 years ago. I became pregnant, had my only son, had no idea that after delivery that I would go through complications.
Mm.
Unbeknownst to me, um, seeking out my medical doctor, who then in turn did some lab work and sent me over to a rheumatologist.
Mm.
It was then that I discovered I had RA. So I have lived with rheumatoid arthritis for over 15 years. And
Wow.
that's how it all began.
Wow.
Um, actually, in denial, because one of the first things that was interrupted was breastfeeding in order to take the medications. So that was hard for me. Um, to not getting better, not the swelling not going down, I had to come to grips and say, okay, I have to take care of myself in order that I take care of him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started on medications, um, Plaquenil. And over the course of those 15 years, yes, I've gone through other different regimens, um, from injections, and other things that had come along, um, to knee surgery, to steroid shots. So that's been my life for the last 15 years.
Wow. I think that so many people who are living with chronic illness or pain deal with just what you said, the challenge and even the trauma of having a limitation, like what you said, not being able to breastfeed and other things that have become limitations. How has your faith been instrumental in seeing you through those kind of challenges?
My faith has been the base of everything. Believing in God, believing that in order that, or entrusting me that I would have this element, and um, no matter what, whatever came, whatever flare ups, whatever I didn't do correctly, just going to Him and just really seeking after the Lord. What can I do? How can I do this? I can't exercise because if I do that, I'm gonna swell up. I can't do this because I'm gonna swell up. If I eat this, it's gonna affect it. I'm gonna be inflamed. So I just had to sit down one day and come to grips. This is what life is for you. Follow the orders of the doctors, do other research and much prayer. Because sometimes the doctors didn't tell me everything beyond a medication. Sometimes it was my eating habits. So I had to go and start looking at and paying attention to, okay, this is activating this is inflaming this, or this exercise is setting you off. So you have to change up stuff. And so I had to pray. I had to start journaling. What is it that I'm doing and not doing? So yeah, just paying attention and becoming keen with me and my body. And in this element, this is what it is, but I can live through it.
Amen. That's amazing. That's one of the things that we advocate is tracking things
Mhm.
that are going on so that you see those patterns. And another one is educating yourself. It's so important to know. But I loved what you said about finding different ways to do things, looking at what impacts you positively and negatively. And I think it's so important to understand that there is no box, there is no set list of rules that's going to work for everybody.
Oh,
And you have to
definitely.
customize it to what works
Yeah.
for you.
Right.
Um, and that's something about you that I've noticed is that you are always looking for a way to get things done. There is no such thing as impossible with you. I've learned that over the years. Um, you are always pursuing your education. You're always looking for a way to minister to someone. What is it that you say to yourself on mornings when it's difficult to get out of bed?
I can do this. Lord, you didn't bring me this far to leave me. And if I just get my foot on the ground, if I can just get my foot on the ground, and sometimes getting my foot on the ground is not easy. I have to take one step at a time, almost like, and that we're talking about people with chronic illness. You'll understand. Sometimes it feels like you have to unthaw.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get up off, if I can just get up. So once I get up, and I take that step, that next step, and that next step. And sometimes it's longer than others. Sometimes mornings are more difficult than others. Actually, right now, as we're sitting here, it's cold. It's rainy. Um, and but I'm fine. I have a heater under me, and those things are things that I have to implement in my life, and I'm okay with that. Um, it gets cold, and I don't like to sleep with socks. That's just a little side note here. But if I start flaring up and my joints get the cramping up, my husband, my son, they come running to my rescue. Mom, you need socks, honey. You know, got my thermal socks and things on it. And they even start fussing at me. Well, why you didn't put these on it? Okay. So just taking care of yourself. And taking one step at a time and implementing those things. Like I even mentioned about exercising. I was going to the gym, and if I lose this weight and I get on this treadmill was beating me up. Did not know. So then I started educating myself. I joined water aerobics. Oh, that was the life.
Mm.
That was so good for me. And I was the youngest person in the pool. A lot of times we think because I'm young, I shouldn't have to deal with this element. It was a lot of older people in there, or what I say, mature,
Mm-hmm.
with these elements in the pool, and I did not feel ashamed because I felt better and I was moving.
That's so good. That you have to stop looking at other people and I think social constructs that we're so familiar with. This is for this age group and that's for that age group, and look at what's right for you.
Right.
And you said something else that I wanted to point out because I think it's so important is that your husband and your son are aware of certain things that make you feel better or that are helpful to you. And I think that it's so critical that we communicate to our support system because they don't know, they're not living it. You know,
Right.
as much as they love us and support us, there are some things they will never understand because they're not in our bodies. And so to communicate those things to them is not just helpful to you, but it helps them as well, because
Oh,
they're not
definitely.
so frustrated that their hands are tied, you know.
Right. That
That's
is so true. That you mentioned that. I remember a few years back, my mom had passed away, and so my sisters and I, we were out kind of looking and getting things ready for the funeral, and I was getting so frustrated, and because we were walking a lot and we're doing this and all that, and I was like, I
mm,
can't do this. I got to sit down. But they didn't understand. And was it fair to them? Absolutely not. So I had to explain to them. So yeah, that support, they have to know, they have to be aware, because I was hot, I was irritable, and the sun was just on me. And so that kind of sets off the rheumatoid arthritis too. So they didn't know.
mhm.
So then I had to explain to them what was going on with me.
I think it's hard for people to acknowledge those things sometimes because they feel like other people will think they can't do certain things. And the reality is, if I tell you what I need, then the potential is greater that I can get it done.
Hmm.
But I'm going to shut down if I don't do the things that I need to do, like take a break or like take a moment to cool off.
Right.
So that is such a great insight. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Is there a particular Bible verse that you cling to in difficult times or in good times?
Actually, yeah, Psalms 34. That's my favorite verse.
Okay.
That's my favorite verse when I'm up, when I'm down, even when I'm acting indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
I will bless the Lord at all times,
All
for
the
his praises shall continually be in my mouth. I will bless him because I reverence him. I'll bless him because I trust him. I'll trust him with everything. I trust him with my life. I trust him with everything that I go into endeavor to do, the accomplishments. I mean, you even mentioned that I'm in school.
time.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I've been on this journey almost 3 years. I returned to school after 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
2 years, I finished my bachelor's degree. I'm almost 1 year into my master's degree and one more year to go. Only but God, because I'll bless him at all times.
Yeah.
All times.
And what I hear reflected in what you're saying is that it's a choice to
Oh,
bless him at all
definitely.
times.
Yes.
There are times when we're not going to feel like blessing him. We're
Yeah.
not going to feel like saying anything good to anybody, but it's a
Mhm.
choice.
Oh,
And,
definitely.
and there are benefits associated with that choice.
Yeah.
So good. Well, I just want to thank you for spending some time with us. And I just want to ask you to share any words of encouragement that you would have to someone who's going through a chronic medical condition. Is anything that you would share with them?
What I would share is keep your faith in God. Take one day at a time. Be patient with yourself. Educate yourself on the elements that you're going with, whatever chronic illness that is. And when I say educate yourself, do the research. Do look at the things that activate your your symptoms, so you can stay away from them. If you don't know, you'll continue to go after those things. Um, Try out exercises and just keep moving, keep moving. I remember, I know this is kind of off a little bit, and I don't know if you know, Allie, I was over 300 pounds.
Wow.
and and to deal with this element, it was very hard. And the exercising, and then you're ripping your body up,
Mm.
and then you can't exercise because you're inflamed, you're hurting. And so it was discouraged. So the weight just wouldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
So what I started doing, and then my husband got on board shortly after, I would walk 5 minutes out. I had no car with me. So that means it took me 5 minutes out. So that means it's going to take me 5 minutes back in.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 10 minutes. And then it got to 15 minutes out, 15 minutes back in. And then I even got up to an hour, 30 minutes out and 30 minutes back in. And so just moving. And then, like I mentioned, the water aerobics coming from off that treadmill, beating and pounding on my ankles and joints. So just educating yourself, taking one day at a time, being patient with yourself, and loving yourself enough to say, I am worth this. And trusting God that He did not put this on you by punishment, but you can live through this. And your faith is what's going to get you through it. When those days and times that you feel like nobody understands, I'm frustrated, I can't move, I can't lose this weight. And today I am under 200 pounds. So from 330 to under 200 in about a course of about 8, 9 years, and playing with this medication and playing with that medication, being hard headed because I didn't want to stop eating this, or in denial even, and not taking the medication. And now I am fine. Like I said, I went from Plaquenil, a very low dose, to different types of medication, and I'm back on Plaquenil. So that's my story. That's my journey.
That's so good to start with where you are and to be patient with yourself. But moving is so good for chronic autoimmune. And you may not start off with marathons,
Right.
but like you said, start with what you can do and keep moving.
Yep.
That's so good. Thank you again so much for sharing your story and your journey with us. I appreciate all the insights that you had to sow into our lives, and I pray that they find good ground and take root and flourish. And thank you to everyone who took the moment to watch this today. I pray that it is a blessing to your life. I pray that you will take some of these insights and internalize them and live your best life. God bless you. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Bye. Thank you.